All right, got the bloops out of the way. Today, talking about a quick productivity and sleep hack that I absolutely love. So, without further ado, every single night, well, hold on, yes, further ado, I'm going to tell you why it's important, and then I'm going to tell you what it is, because I like to lead you on a little bit and then get you interested and excited for exactly what it is, and then tell you. Your mind thinks of things. Have you ever been trying to go to sleep and everything is bouncing around your mind? And you have a lot of things going on. You're thinking about what to do tomorrow. You're thinking about what you did today. You're thinking about your obligations, the things you have to do, the things you want to do, the things you don't want to do. And it's all bouncing around in your head, right? Your mind is doing something. And it's doing something that's trying to be helpful. What it's doing is it's trying to remind you of the things that you need to know. Your computer has a RAM, right? It has random access memory, it stands for. But that is what is called working memory, right? If you are working on a photo in Photoshop, RAM holds important information about the image that you're working on so that the computer doesn't have to access the slower hard drive space or the slower SSD space. SSDs are almost becoming as fast as RAM, but your computer doesn't want to keep accessing that even on a fast SSD because SSDs have a limited amount of read writes. Like if you read and write from the same spot a certain number of times, that spot will break essentially. It won't be able to read and write from. So even if a computer used a super fast SSD as RAM, over time, it would accelerate the decline of that SSD, and that's not good either. So your computer wants to keep the relevant memory in RAM so it's accessible ASAP. And so if you have a photo you're working with in Photoshop, it wants to keep the data from that photo in RAM while you're working on it so the computer can take from here and doesn't have to use long-term storage, which is either slow or damaging to the long-term storage, for it to keep reading and writing from there. Your mind is similar. You have long-term storage, which is where you store all your memories. That's when you go to sleep. Your mind organizes what's important from the day, puts some of it in long-term storage. You have, we call it working memory in your brain, but it's the same thing as RAM, right? If you have a bunch of things that your mind is trying to keep alive because it's important, right? It's trying to keep it in RAM. It's trying to keep reminding yourself so you don't forget it. Then it's going to distract you. It's not going to help you wind down. You're going to be all alert and all that stuff, and that's going to be all in your mind, and you're not going to be able to go to sleep, right? So what you need to do is show your mind that you're never going to forget it. And the easiest way to do that is, here's the hack. Drum roll, please. Write it down. Take a journal. You can buy them for a couple bucks at H-E-B. I don't even make them on commission anymore because it's not worth it. I sell them at $100, but even that's like only a little more than minimum wage because they take a long time to make. So unless you're willing to pay $500 for a journal, I don't do them anymore. But buy a really good journal at H-E-B. H-E-B is a grocery store here in Texas. Not all of you are here in Texas, but buy a good journal anywhere. I have this one. It was $8 from a grocery store. It's really nice. I bought one of those before too. And I would suggest you buy a journal. So buy a journal, write down. So at night, write down a to-do list for tomorrow, and just the things you need to do, and then the next day actually do them. And also write down the things that are bothering you, things you think you have to remember. You don't even need to look at them ever again, but the fact that you can quiets your mind. Keep that next to your bedside. Obviously, keep it with you if you're going to use it as a to-do list during the day, but bring it up to bed with you. I say up to bed because I have two floors, but bring it to bed with you. Put it on the bedside table, and sometimes when I go to sleep, I'm going to sleep, and then my mind's like, oh, well, what about this? You have to do this tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And then I reach over and I write it down, and then it's out of my mind. Or it's like, oh, like this is a really important insight for you that you need to think about right now. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, even if it's something I don't think I'll use later, I'll write it down because that quiets my mind. My mind is like, oh, okay, I don't have to keep reminding this guy because now it's on that piece of paper. And if he needs to look at it again, he'll look at the piece of paper. I don't need to keep bugging him. Hey, remember this. Hey, remember, I just thought of this. Hey, remember, I thought of a good idea because he wrote it down. I don't have to remind him because now he has access to that forever. I hope this helps. It really helps me. It's gotten me clear head at night so many times. And if you want to, subscribe to this channel. If you don't, then don't, because we're free people here in this world. And I also have a lot of the things I use, the tools I use, the lights, the tripods, the microphone, the shock mount, the microphone mount, the camera, the lens, the memory cards, the backup drives. Everything I use here is in the description below and an affiliate link. And if you click on that, you help me out a lot by giving me some cash monies, but also no cost to you. So it helps me put more focus on this channel. I would like this channel to eventually be a good chunk of side income for my photography biz, and help y'all out, help y'all live a more passionate life. I also have my Whoop strap, which I use to track my sleep. That is a monthly fee of about $30. If you want to get better sleep, tracking it is really important. So go ahead and buy that, by the way. If you use my link in the description, you get a free month. And if you don't like it, then you can return it in the first month and you don't have to pay anything. If you do keep it after a month, you have to keep it for, I think, 6 months total, because they don't charge you for the strap, and so they kind of make that money back in the first 6 months. So that's why if you keep it for longer than a month, then they make you keep it for 6. But if you return it in the first month, then they're fine with that. But yeah, you get a free month. I get a free month too for everyone who signs up, so it helps me out too. So wish you guys the best. Cheers. Bye.